Hi, welcome back. Welcome back to Tips and Answers about your sponsorship and partnership marketing questions. I'm Brent Barudis. I'm with the Partnership Group Sponsorship Specialists, and the goal of this is to just provide share some tips with you, but also to answer some of the questions that we continually receive through email and online and to us at the office. So at this point in time, most of the questions seem to be obviously around COVID-19, but they won't always be. So today we have two questions that we're going to try and answer for you. The first one is, how can we begin to do digital and virtual better than we have in the past? How can we provide a better delivery of digital and virtual and augmented reality type products in our sponsorship programs post COVID-19? And during, actually, the question included. The second question that we're going to try to answer today is, what will experiential marketing look like post COVID-19? But let's get into it. So the first question, one of the most asked questions that we're getting right now is, how can we integrate digital? How can we integrate social? How can we integrate AV or AR and virtual reality into our sponsorship programs today through the COVID-19 scenario and situation, but also post COVID-19? The answer to that question is simple, but the implementation is probably way more complex. The simple answer is begin to use it. Use it more than you ever have before. Integrate it in. It's there, it's available. You should be already on social networks, whether they are Snapchat, whether it is TikTok, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You're already there. You need to start to integrate more. We've talked about this in the past, about making sure that your stories about your partners are being told through your channels. So that means integrating and talking about sponsors, talking about the property if you're a sponsor, and telling people what they're doing great in the community in these days, how they're making an impact with their employees or with the homelessness or with the medical apparatus and the medical PPE. Those sorts of things. If they're involved, you need to be telling those stories. You need to be telling them on their behalf. That's the first place to be doing digital. I'm watching my LinkedIn and my Twitter pretty closely these days, and there are a few organizations that they're spending most of their time talking about themselves. This is the time to talk about others. So that's the most important part. Share about their staff and great scenarios. Share about all those opportunities that they're creating. And if you're involved and you're going to start doing a social campaign, then integrate them into it. See how they can be part of it. Talk with your partners about how you can do this with them. Then we want to take a look at digital, and probably one of the best digital integrations I have seen through COVID-19 comes from the Louisville Bats. Louisville Bats are obviously a baseball team. They're a AAA affiliate to the Cincinnati Reds, and they're based obviously in Louisville. And they've done, like most organizations have, whether they're sports teams, whether they're charities, whether they're not-for-profits, but in all of our communities, small, local, independent businesses are getting hurt pretty bad, and even some of the nationals in local communities. So a lot of people are promoting, a lot of these organizations like the Louisville Bats are promoting and encouraging through their social channels, through their website, through digital, into telling everybody, hey, shop local. But these are our partners at these restaurants, and they're identifying their partners and saying, hey, make sure you do curbside pickup with these guys. Order your next meal from these guys. Hey, you can order online from these guys, and it can be delivered. Or, as I said, curbside pickup. So they were seeing a lot of that they were doing. So they stepped back for a bit there. They continued to do all of that, but what they did was they went on and they took a look to see what else they could do. How could they take this up a step? So they stepped in with one of their partners, and that partner happened to be an augmented reality company, Imagination Imagination Park. It used to be called, Vancouver-based organization. And and they're very strong and trying to get the augmented reality fitted into the sport, and they're leaders in the sports world from around that. So what they did with Imagine AR was they said, how can we take this to the next level? So they sat down and they worked on it. And what they came up with, and I mean, this is in the last week to 10 days, that what they came up with was they decided to create a scavenger hunt through the same channels. So they promoted their 10 partner restaurants. And those 10 partner restaurants, they had over 100 100 retail outlets or storefronts in the community. So you could go to any one of these places, order food, and pick up curbside, and download the new augmented reality or AR app that the Louisville Bats had developed, and take your picture, send it through the app, point it up on the app, send it and share it, tied in with their mascot, so it became an augmented reality buddy bat mascot picture. So you were able to do this. Then they were able to take that, and people were entered to win through going through this process. They were able to win tickets to the ball games coming up when the season starts again. They were also able to give away sweets and several other merchandise that they're doing right now. But it's created a fun experience for people. Do you remember when the different programs have come out, whether it was Angry Birds or any other gamifying situation? And that's what the Louisville Bats have done with Imagine AR. And they've created a gamification opportunity through COVID-19. Hey, go pick up your dinner curbside at this restaurant or that restaurant, take a picture, put it in there with Buddy Bat, the mascot, through the augmented reality app, because that's where the mascot's hanging right now, and take that picture, get it up there, and then you have a chance to win. So not only is this driving traffic to these specific restaurants, not only is it tying in and helping with their partners, but it is also educating and teaching people how to use these, the fans for the ball team, how to use this augmented reality opportunity before the season actually resumes. So that's probably the coolest one that I know of that's going on right now. And I would encourage you to, Google Louisville Bats and see what they're doing with augmented reality and how they're making this work. So before we go to the second question, I just want to remind everybody that if you're looking to take your sponsorship program, whether it's now when you might have some time or later after COVID-19, take it to the next level, I encourage you to take a look at my book. It's called Reality Check, Straight Talk About Sponsorship Marketing. That's Reality Check, Straight Talk About Sponsorship Marketing. If you go to our website, you can scroll down to the bottom of the website, the homepage, and you can click through right to our publisher's website and order the book. It's chock full of great stories, great industry examples, as well as it's really a step-by-step manual for sponsorship today from the property side. It's used in dozens of post-secondary institutions across Canada. It has chapters on everything from how do you figure out what you have to sell, what are those assets worth, how do you prospect, how do you get into meetings, what do you do in those meetings, do discovery sessions. It also talks about the ideal way to present and build a proposal that'll actually work. It identifies and helps you build a plan for fulfillment management, for activation programming, and also for summits. So it's a great read, great book, and it'll help you with your program. So now let's move on to question number 2, which is really very interesting, and it's one of those reality checks that we all have to be having. What is experiential marketing going to look like at the end of COVID-19? And as I've said before, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But what I do know is that it's on life support right now. We're for the most part, we're not engaged in experiential marketing. There are no events. In some provinces here in Canada, you can't meet more than 2 people at a time. In some it's 5, some it's 10. But the scenario is there aren't events, there are no festivals operating, there are no theater productions, there are no ball games, there are none of these elements are happening right now. So there is no place and no opportunity, it seems, to actually be integrated into and doing experiential marketing. So how is it going to look at the other end? But before I step back to what's going to look like on the other side of COVID-19, let's think about this a little bit. There are opportunities that you can be doing. We have to be safe, we have to be secure, but people are still eating 3 meals a day. They're eating them in their homes, whether they order the food in or whether they're making their own meals, whether they're going to the grocery store or they're having the groceries delivered to the house to make the meals. So the scenario comes down is that we're still eating 3 meals a day. There is still deliveries. We have Canada Post, Purelator, FedEx, UPS, they're all delivering. So if you have a product that you want tested, if you have a product that you want sampled, if you have an experiential opportunity that you want to put in the hands of people, yeah, we can still do it. We have databases, we have delivery addresses, we have all of those elements. And this is the time and the opportunity to really differentiate yourself and provide people with a unique opportunity. Hopefully it's fun and it's engaging, but it has to make sure people feel comfortable with it. When it arrives on their doorstep, how do they feel? Is it safe? Is it sanitized? Is it secure? When was the last time somebody touched it with their hands? All those elements have to be addressed if we're going to do any experiential marketing at this point in time. So when we start to look at post-COVID-19, we really have to look at the fact that, you know what, experiential marketing, sampling, testing, surveys at festivals where, you know, people are punching on a keypad, playing with a hockey stick, passing it on to the next person to take a shot. Those type of experiential opportunities are not going to happen right away. They're not going to immediately come back. People are just going to be scared. They're just not, they're going to be way more safe in how they're actually conducting themselves at festivals, at events, at hockey games, anywhere else there's experiential. So we have to look at how can we actually integrate experiential into this new world. And there's some great ideas, some that we're working on with our clients right now. I just had a good read of Strategy Online, and they were in discussion with Simon Pure Experiential Agency in Toronto, who also had some terrific ideas. And so some of those things that we have to start to think about and start to be understanding and learning towards is that it is going to be different. And so what is different? Maybe we're not going to be punching keypads anymore. Maybe we're not going to be punching anything because now we're touching somebody else's apparatus and questioning if it's safe or not. Maybe now in the new world of experiential marketing, it's going to be, hey, when you walk into that tent, when you walk into that area that the brand has set up an experience for you, maybe it's an automatic download. You need to download the app right on site and do it on your own phone. Integrate there, have the interaction. Great opportunity to go to augmented reality on your phone. Everything is right there. So when we start to look at that, what the Louisville Bats are already doing from an augmented reality perspective, how can we create that on site? In addition to that, maybe it's going to move away from the individual touch to almost like Xbox scenario. Everything will be motion based. So that is another option that we could be addressing or looking at in the new world of experiential marketing. The other comment that was made and was really clear by Simon Pure Experiential Agency is maybe the world of experiential marketing isn't going to be cramming 100 people in line and through and bustling them into an area in large groups, but maybe to be a shift to smaller, more focused groups. Maybe it's the experience only happens to 1 or 2 people at a time, or a small family or a family. And they're the ones that are experiencing the situation or the opportunity rather than a large crowd opportunity. And that might mean there's an opportunity to integrate virtual reality. So when we start to look at all of those types of things, that's probably some of the channels that we need to be looking at when we look at the virtual reality, the augmented reality, and the digital world and space combined with our social world and social media situations, when we start coming down and looking at experiential marketing post-COVID-19. Thank you for watching this. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope that both those questions have been answered. If you and remember, if you have a question, if you want something answered, you can just send me an email, brent@partnershipgroup.ca. That's brent@partnershipgroup.ca, and we'll get you into the queue and hopefully be able to answer your question soon. Also, for past tips and answers videos like this one, just go to the video tab on our website at www.partnershipgroup.ca. That's partnershipgroup.ca. Thanks. Stay safe, stay isolated, and make sure that you're self-distancing if you go outside. Thank you.